Hey everyone, it's your girl Maddie here, aka Beaver Mosh, and today I'm talking to you about genetically engineered Monstrosity from Tortured, who is this international collaboration from a number of, well, let's say veterans of extreme metal, and this is being released off of Comatose Music. And on this debut full-length, Tortured plays a particularly grotesque and just glorified brutal death metal. I mean, this stuff absolutely reeks and is just unleashing mammoth tons of heavy on you. Tortured in no way is necessarily reinventing brutal death metal here, but they definitely do execute it quite well. No Time Is Wasted is just a come and go, absolutely punishing 29 minutes. And you're going to get, within this short period of time, your signature brutal death metal, rhythmic riffs, and those nauseating, puked vocals. But you can tell that Tortured really took their time to craft these tunes. It doesn't feel like just another dialed in brutal death metal album. There's actually quite a bit of variance and unpredictability here. On Bathing in Pus, you are immediately hit with these rancid chromatic guitars, thick gurgling low end, these trash can blast beats, and these putrid squealed vocals. It's exactly how you want a brutal death metal album to start. When the track does slow down, we're hit with these monstrous chugs that just feel so big and grisly, and God, these riffs are heavy. And then the band does play with these dramatically squealed harmonics. It's just alarmingly gross. Raised by Punishment is built more around these hammering palm muted strums, and then the band does mix in some vicious slam riffs, but not overdoing it, only falling on these for color. This record is actually deceptively varied in terms of riffing style and tempo changes. The drums sound like this industrial grinder just going to work, but with that mechanical sound, it still feels rather crisp and organic. Some of these breathy, inhaled vocals on Human Belt just make me want to gag. They sound so horrendous, and yes, that is absolutely a compliment. And the drums here do these cool, choppy, galloping patterns that give the track this sweet, gnarly little skip to it. The band will slow things down to an extreme, leaving you in just complete anticipation, clenching your fist, gritting your teeth, waiting for what's about to erupt, and I promise you, it always does erupt back into full speed, just annihilation. Mushed Up has this gurgling sample at the beginning. Perfect. It's just the pretty image you need for such a calming record, and that sets the mood perfectly for these rolling spiky guitar riffs with these just nasty harmonics attached to them, all in tandem with these burly low growls. These honking bass flourishes you'll find running around this track give it a swampy punch. And then there are these faint backing vocals. The band actually does this more than once on the record, that you can kind of pick up on that sound like a dying goblin. It's quite something. The title track is just so overwhelmingly rancid. Everything seems to come together, from the breathy squeals of rotting remains, that disgusting snare pop, and those sawing chromatic riffs. This record is not for those with a weak stomach, as I've mentioned already. this band, tortured, pushes the extremes of music in its most vile way. It's beautiful to my ears. This band is so good at no notice slowing down and then lighting a fire underneath and racing forward, and these dramatic trade-offs make this album so punishing, and you don't know when you're gonna find some stability. Spoiler alert, you're not going to. There's this maddening section on barbaric impalement where the vocalist just huffs out these series of notes in rapid succession, almost the same pace as these frenetic hacking guitars. It's a hellish moment. And at the same time, the bass is kind of doing these hypnotic circular things around everything. It's disorienting as you don't really know where everything is coming from, so your only choice is just to sit there and be slapped around violently in torment. These winding, chunky guitars begin to get things rolling on Boiled to Death. But there is this fantastic section where the vocalist lets out these pronounced shouts while the guitars give us these rounded, massive chords. It's towering in the least epic way possible. This is probably my favorite track, and just how purely chaotic and heavy and destructive it sounds. This is probably my favorite track, has how purely swing to it, while the vocalist here heavy lets out these destructive notes with such hostility. It's very, very scary. Can we just take a second to talk about the production here? Because it feels so rough and grimy, yet it allows this crisp punchiness that makes everything come across so physical and punishing. Gruesome Chastisement is the last track here, and to my ears, it actually takes on more of some grind characteristics. Speedy, slicing riffs paired with these violent, pissed off shouts, just absolute ugliness to end an absolutely devouring what's left of you. Has genetically toxic swing to it, while the vocalist by its cover promises something so brutal and so destructive, and I tell you, it definitely delivers on that promise. Nothing experimental, nothing very progressive, nothing particularly innovative here. But sometimes you need that. You need that stripped down approach, and wow, can this thing be... Can it be a bully sometimes? It's going to knock. Can we just take a second to talk about the production here? Because everything sounds so rough, brutal, and grimy, but at the same time, there's this fan of punchiness that allows it to feel so listen to this. You're gonna punishing. Love it. It's gonna deliver what you're after. And hey, those are my thoughts. Can we just take a second to talk about the production here? Because the world to me, if you so rough and grimy, and it allows this comment. I love getting to engage with those that makes everything come across so YouTube physical channel and hey, punish. Keep it metal. My name is Maddie, aka Beaver Mach, and I am signing off.